welcome into Speak. A huge day in sports. Exciting news on the field, exciting news off the field. That is Dave Hellman, the brilliant Joy Taylor, and Eagles all-time rushing leader LaShawn Shady McCoy, 15,000 yards in the NFL, legend in his own right. But exciting news, first and foremost, off the field with the Buffalo Bills regarding Damar Hamlin. Y'all know we're starting the show talking Damar and keeping you updated until he is out the hospital. But earlier today, the Bills tweeted that Damar FaceTimed into our team meeting today to talk to players and coaches. What he said to the team, quote, "Love you guys." He also flexed his muscles to the team, and they had a very heartfelt moment. Well, get this. The Bills also shared that our very own LaShawn Shady McCoy will be in Buffalo. Remember, LaShawn McCoy, a Pitt alum. Damar Hamlin, a Pitt alum. Clearly, Shady, you already know what time it is. Played for the Bills, all-pro running back in Buffalo. So Shady will be there supporting his brother as the Bills honor Shady and honor Damar's health. Shady, how you feeling, man, going back there, going back to the place you called home? Obviously, Damar Hamlin, and what that means right now, the great news, just speak your heart.
Oh, I'm so excited to go back home. I mean, Buffalo, I would say this, before I got there, I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was cold, but then you get there and just like the community and the team, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, what they built there, the culture, even with Damar, the things he's went through and now the progress he's made, and you can see from the teammates, the coaches, they love him. They love each other, and that's one thing I do remember, and I'm happy to get back to that, is how the brotherhood and how everybody love each other, love each other's company, and I can't wait to get there. And it's going to be rocking, though. They're going to be tailgating all night and all day, right? So I can't drink too much because I'm going to be out there hanging out. But, yeah, it's going to be full of fun, full of love. I can't wait.
Well, it speaks volumes that Shady McCoy, our very own, but also you all get to watch a legend on Speak every single day. Shady, I don't give you enough props, but, man, salute to you. Transitioning to the football field, how about the Eagles? Y'all already know what time it is for them. It's not necessarily a must-win game, but if they win, they're in the 1 seed. If they lose, with the Cowboys winning, they can move all the way down to the 5 seed. So much is at stake for head coach Nick Sirianni, who's 0-2 the last 2 games, and Jalen Hurts, who has not played the last 2 games, but he is trending in the right direction. He got a questionable designation, but as Dave Hellman, who's covered the league for the last 10 years, reminded me, you can no longer designate a player as probable. Shady, coming to you first. Who's under more pressure Sunday? Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni?
Jalen, Sirianni, neither. What's pressure about? Listen, my Eagles, when they played the Giants the first time, starters versus starters, your guys against our guys, your best against my best, we beat them by 20-something points.
Yeah, 26.
Now, right, the Giants, they have their seed, right? They can't go any higher. They touched their ceiling, or we haven't. We got to win this game to get the first seed. So, yeah, I think there's no pressure. We're going to beat the backups, right? I'm hearing that the Giants is not playing too many people. I got my sources, Sean McCoy's close sources, right? And they're not playing that many players, right? So we should go in there and win that game. And we need this win to get that number 1 seed because nobody wants to come to Philadelphia in the cold and the link for playoffs.
That's real.
You don't want to be there, baby. I tell you what, it's going to be popping. You know why?
Why?
I'm going to be there. Meek Mill's going to be there. Gillian Wild's going to be there. Kevin Hart's we all going to be there. It's going to be loud as hell. Nobody want to play on all that noise. Listen, number 1 seed, baby, on the way. On the way.
Who is under more pressure? Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts? I got to say Jalen Hurts. And the reason being is, you know, Jalen Hurts is still only in his 3rd year. So in the game of football, the long game of football for quarterbacks, he's still young. What that means is this is when you develop the approval of your head coach taking your word. Jalen Hurts is likely going to play in this game, but he's not going to play because the doctor said he could play. He's not going to play because the coach said he can play. He's not going to play because general manager Howie Roseman said he can play. He's going to play because he said he was healthy enough to play. It all comes down to the trainer going up to Shady, going up to Jalen Hurts. Hey, you good to go? Oh, yeah, coach, I'm good to go, man. You sure? Yeah, I'm good to go. Well, if you are sure, then you better be sure. Because Jalen Hurts, they are trusting what you are saying you are healthy enough to go out there, healthy enough to play this game. Because the last time we saw you, not only did you get hurt, but you didn't play great. You don't have to play this game. Shady already alluded to it. The Eagles beat the Giants by 26 points. They don't need you to beat the Giants' backups. Surely they don't. But if you gonna go out there and play, the coach is trusting that you are as healthy as you say you are. Nobody is in Jalen Hurts' body except for Jalen Hurts. For that reason, I do think, Dave Hellman, there's a little bit of pressure, and this is one of those big marks of, all right, Jalen, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. I think there's more pressure on Hurts.
Say the right thing, Dave. Say the right thing.
I mean, I agree with Shady in the sense that there shouldn't be pressure. But guess what? There is a little bit. because it's all jokey jokes until you don't win this game, and now you're a wild card team.
Jokey jokes.
Which it's hard to imagine that. It was hard to imagine them losing to the Saints, too.
True.
And that's why I think all the pressure is on Nick Sirianni, because they shouldn't even be in this situation. They should have beaten the Saints at home, a Saints team that's not as good as this Giants team. Maybe if the Giants don't play their starters, but you get my point.
Yep.
That game was very winnable with Gardner Minshew. They didn't win. And now they're in a position where they have to play Jalen Hurts, even if it's only until they're comfortably in the lead, which, like I keep saying, that would be the dream scenario. They can't afford, though. They cannot afford to send their backup out if their starter is healthy in a game that they've got to have. And it's the head coach that puts them in this situation. They went 0-2. Jalen Hurts got you a 13-1 start. What else do you want him to do? But they're like, pressure's on, Jalen. You got to come through. He's like, I've been coming through since week 1. What are you talking about? I needed you to win one game without me, and you can't do it? Absolutely not. There's no pressure on Jalen Hurts. I assume he's obviously healthy enough to play, but I assume he's not at 100%. It's on the Eagles. We've been talking all year about how amazing their roster is. It was always silly that they would be just as good with Gardner Minshew, but I mean, we saw the Cowboys go 4-1 with Cooper Rush. We've seen teams succeed with their backups throughout the year. I saw a crazy stat yesterday, like 11 teams have needed to play a backup or something. Like half the league has needed to play their backup at some point this season. The Eagles are the most recent one, and they haven't handled it as well. I put that on the coaching staff. So I don't think there's much pressure on Jalen Hurts at all. There is pressure on the Eagles to win this game, starting with the head coach.
Where you at, Joy?
Every once in a while, Emmanuel, you'll say something that will move me off of my position. Every once in a while. I've been listening to you talk about the Eagles' losses, and while I don't agree that Gardner Minshew is the answer, they should have beat the Saints, okay? And I've arrived at that. They should have beat the Saints. Now, I don't think that it's a reflection of the Eagles not being a good team, but you got to have a game plan that makes sense for your backup quarterback, because Gardner Minshew, despite what you may have heard on the internet, is not Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. And perhaps it was me just knowing that Gardner Minshew is not as good as Jalen Hurts, and that this particular offense runs through Jalen Hurts, and it's not a plug-and-play Kyle Shanahan type of offense. Thought we were all watching the same games, but sometimes we aren't. So perhaps that's what kept me from saying, okay, this is really a bad loss and kind of a reflection on Nick Sirianni that you can't split with a backup. Mm-hmm. We were firing Mike McCarthy before the season started. They went 4-1 with Cooper Rush.
True. I was. True.
Which is really impressive. And it wasn't all just the defense and everybody stepping up. They contributed for sure, but Cooper Rush also didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make mistakes. Gardner Minshew, what did he do against the Cowboys?
4.
3. 4 total turnovers. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Nick Sirianni. This is a game. It's most likely going to be the Giants' backups. You already beat the Giants' starters. Even if you do have to play Gardner Minshew for most of the game, you should be able to put together a game plan to beat the Giants. And that's not a dig at the Giants, because the Giants have clinched a playoff spot. Yeah. This game doesn't matter at all to the Giants. And
the Giants handled their business.
They handled their business, and everyone in the Giants building knows that. So I think there's actually a lot of pressure on Sirianni.
Well, there's not just pressure in that game, Shady. We've talked about this off camera, on camera. Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers. Win and you are in for the Green Bay Packers. Lions, if they win, and a little bit of help in Los Angeles versus that Seahawks game, then the Lions are in as well. It's a must-win game. This is NFL football at its literal best, at its finest. Packers hosting the Lions. Dan Campbell, head coach for the Detroit Lions. Aaron Rodgers, one of the most talented quarterbacks the game of football has ever seen. There's a lot of pressure for both of these individuals, but there's more pressure in my mind, Shady, for Dan Campbell.
Ooh.
Aaron Rodgers, we know what time it is. Aaron Rodgers is one of the cockiest individuals in all of sports. I will say confidence because he backs it up. But Dan Campbell got the pressure in this one. 11, 21, and 1 through 2 seasons. That is Dan Campbell's record. 11, 21, and 1. I do not care how you slice it. I don't care how you dice it. That's 5.5 wins per season. That does not cut it on any planet, in any sport. 5.5 wins per season when you can win up to 17 games. So much pressure on Dan Campbell, Shady, because coaches got to win now. Zach Taylor, his second year in the league, his second year as a head coach. Joe Burrow shows up. Ooh, by his third year as a head coach, he's already in Super Bowl.
Yeah, big. That's
Mike
big time.
McDaniel goes to Miami, and outside of the Tua injuries, he starts off 8-3. Make that make sense. Sean McVay goes to Los Angeles, turns 0-7, Jared Goff, to 12-4, Jared Goff, then 13-3, Super Bowl, Jared Goff. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Dan Campbell, I mean, I like the rah-rah. I like Aiden Hutchinson dancing to Michael Jackson in HBO Hard Knocks. I like you biting off kneecaps. But 5.5 wins? 5.5 wins per season, it does not cut it. Joy brought up that last year a lot of head coaches wound up fired that we did not think would get fired. I'm not saying that Dan Campbell will get fired, but what I'm saying is all that rah-rah goes out the window without